Hello, everyone. Welcome to your late night live. I've both been busy bees today, so we've got had to kind of squeeze this news show at the night time, which I don't think majority people mind. I think it's something. Obviously, the games have just finished. Maybe you do want something to watch. Let us know if you do. Leave a like on the video for us as well. Today we're going to be discussing Lisandro Martinez back in training along with a few others, and we'll discuss that. Jean-Claude Blanc working part-time, I can only assume, until the end of the season. You've got Bruno with a couple of interesting quotes in an interview that he's done. Mason Greenwood could end up staying at Man United if they don't get the price that they want. And we feel like Alvaro Fernandes is set to join Benfica from the reports that are coming out from Portugal as well. So, actually quite a few things to get into. Before we do though, Sam, just a quick question, kind of off topic a little bit. Thoughts on the game, Bayern Munich, Madrid? Just watch it.
Good game, man. Enjoyed it.
It was alright, wasn't it? Yeah.
Never, ever count Real Madrid out of a Champions League game.
They're mad, innit?
Never do it.
They're just
never fucking
crazy.
do it. I don't care if you're 3-1 up or whatever it is. They will find a way back in, and it's going to the Bernabeu. So I wouldn't bet against them if I was a betting man. Like, I'm not a betting guy, but I would not bet against them at all.
They can look awful in a game. It's almost like the opposite of United, isn't it? Like, United can look awful and it'll just stay as a draw, or we'll just end up conceding in the last minute. Madrid, they can score whenever, regardless of the form, regardless what game situation it is. They just have that, kind of news to do it, which can't be said for us, unfortunately. But yeah, I thought it was an overall decent game. Looking forward to the replay at the Bernabeu. But bringing it back to United slightly.
Before we do, who would you want in the final? Who do you want? I know you want Madrid to go through, but do you want Dortmund or PSG in the final?
Yeah, it'd be hard for me to say Bayern when I've got a Madrid shirt on in it. Out of Dortmund and PSG, I think for football, Dortmund, because PSG is one of those.
I hate PSG.
This is one of those, isn't it?
Fucking hate.
I do hate PSG, but who do I think or who do I want? Sorry, did you say?
Who do you want?
Who do I want? I'd like Dortmund to go, just because. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't have a dog in the fight with Madrid and Munich, so either one could go through. But I want Dortmund to beat PSG because I can't stand PSG. So yeah.
Also, just add to that as well. How gorgeous is the Allianz Arena? I really want to go there.
I've been.
Oh, have you been?
Yeah, when I went to Munich.
Shit!
I didn't see a match, unfortunately, but I went on the tour and stuff.
To the actual stadium.
It's so good. I would love to go see a game there. I'd love to go watch a game.
Yeah, I was just saying that to Kayla, and I was like, I need to go to that stadium and watch a Champions League tie because the stadium looks beautiful, man. Anyway, we'll bring it back to United. Carrington. Apparently, Luke Shaw is also involved in this as well, but I'm not going to say for concrete because I don't know. I've just seen reports, but I'm going to go with Lisandro Martinez. Yeah, so there's been a few conflicting reports, but Lisandro Martinez, Mason Mount, Marcus Rashford, and apparently Luke Shaw have all been training this week. Not sure who's going to be fit enough to start against Palace, but in terms of Lisandro, Sam, no doubt, first and foremost, we need him in as soon as possible, but you have to be careful with him at the same time as well, not to rush him back, because we've seen evidence with other players that's not always the best idea, is it?
Yeah, we've done it twice this season, haven't we, with Lisandro, rushed him back. Right at the beginning of the season, he had the foot injury, and then I think he ignored the rehab, I believe, so that is on him. He diverted from the rehab apparently and thought he could just carry on and didn't, and ended up re-injuring himself and being out for a long time. And then he came back recently. Was it a muscle injury he did? Or he had or something? I can't remember what.
Yeah, so he had a setback with his metatarsal.
Yeah.
And then he came back, and then Kufal landed on his knee awkwardly, didn't he? He was out with that. And then he came back and then got a muscle injury. And now he came back again.
So if it's muscle injuries, I would be extremely careful and just be baby stepping him the entire way just to make sure that he don't start him. Don't fucking chuck him in at the deep end in the FA Cup final with no game time. Like, baby step him in. So if he's fit enough for the bench, 10 minutes at the end against Palace, Sunday?
Yeah. Monday
sorry.
night.
10 minutes, Palace, and then maybe 15-20 against Newcastle, a couple more against Brighton, and then you'd hope he'd be ready for Arsenal, hopefully, because I think we'd probably need him. Mount was on the bench against Burnley, wasn't he? I believe he was on the bench.
Yeah, correct.
So he should be somewhere a bit fitter, hopefully, because I think he would have been the guy I would have brought on for Eriksen in that later stages, but obviously that didn't happen. And then Shaw, I don't even know if you risk him, to be honest with you. I think just keep him, make sure he's fit, and make sure he gets minutes, but like just don't start him in any games because we probably need him for the FA Cup final if we're going to have any chance of thing. But yeah, I wouldn't start him for the rest of the season. What's the point? We can't qualify for the Champions League. We can't win anything, so you might as well just fucking save his legs, aren't you?
Yeah. Certain people might argue with the Europa League kind of thing, but for me, I agree with you. I think Ten Hag are probably looking at it and thinking, I need my best team available for this FA Cup final to try and salvage fucking anything at all. So I think they will be baby stepping it. Even with Mount now, like you can't. No. It's almost turning into a Martial situation where you play like 20 minutes and it's like, you're almost risking him. Yeah. So management is key with this one. I think, if you want him for them important games and the games that we've got coming up as well, don't forget Arsenal at home in the league, Newcastle, which could be a massive fixture for the Europa League, which I never like saying because it's Europa League, but that's going to be a massive game. You've got Brighton as well. Like, we've actually got a pretty tough run of fixtures. Yeah. And the reason why I say tough is because of how we're playing, first and foremost, and second of all, the form that the teams are in. Palace, Arsenal, Brighton, all in good form at the minute. Well, maybe not Brighton, but not, yeah. No. Palace beat Newcastle. They beat Liverpool. Yeah. They beat a few West Ham. I think they slapped West Ham like 5-2 as well. So they are flying at the moment. And I think that's going to be a difficult game. But we'll have the preview towards the end of the week. We don't want to discuss that now. What with the others, you've kind of touched on a couple of them. Marcus Rashford, again, he's been back and forth all season form-wise. But having him back in there, do you think he'll walk straight back into the team?
If he's fit, he'll start, won't he? Like, that's
unfortunately.
How it is. Unfortunately, I don't want it, and I don't think he should. But in reality, that's what's going to happen. Garnacho will move out to the right, and Anthony will probably be dropped, I imagine. So, which means even less chance that Ahmad gets off the bench, because if there's an opportunity to change a winger, it's going to be Anthony. It's not going to be Ahmad. Yeah. So. Yeah. I'm interested to see who starts against Crystal Palace on Monday night, but we will have the preview for that probably Friday, as it is Monday kickoff, because we have a certain guest on Thursday. Am I right there? Yeah.
Saying that, Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then possibly a guest Monday as well, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Interesting. Right, we'll move on to the topic then, the discussion. Make sure you get involved in the chat, by the way, if you are watching. It's a little bit quiet in there. It is your late night live, so I appreciate most people probably weren't expecting this, but do get involved in the chat. Do leave a like on the video for us, whether you're watching this live or later on, and hit that subscribe button as well, because we're trying to hit 5,000 within the next couple of weeks. Yeah, next topic, Sam. Jean-Claude Blanc. We had a report come out probably about half an hour before we went live. Actually, we weren't even expecting it, that Man United have made 2 further changes to executive leadership by mutual consent. Patrick Stewart, interim chief executive officer, and Cliff Beattie, Chief Financial Officer, have decided to leave the club at the end of the season. Patrick will be replaced as CEO by Jean-Claude Blanc until the arrival of Omar Barada on the 13th of July. Cliff Beattie will be replaced by CFO Roger Bell, which, again, I don't know much about any of the others, but when we talk about someone like Jean-Claude Blanc, the experience that he has, what he's done at Juventus and PSG, will be extremely valuable until Omar is available to come in.
Absolutely. And it's a temporary fill-in for 2 months, 3 months?
6 weeks.
So I wouldn't worry too much about, can he do the job and stuff? He's literally just filling the position in a position he's probably very familiar with. He might not have done that exact position, but I'm sure he's very familiar with it and the processes and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, Omar Barada, it wouldn't surprise me if he's doing things behind the scenes already.
I was just about to say that. Dropping a cheeky text.
I can't imagine he's not on WhatsApp and sending John
100%.
You know what I mean? So
100%.
I think it's in all but name. I think he is pulling strings behind the scenes and probably setting stuff up ready for the summer, I imagine. So, it's good. It's nice to see big changes happening at the top level, which we've been asking for years at this point. We've all said Ed Woodward was no longer good enough and could not operate the football side of a football club. We all give him praise for his commercial side, but when it came to football, he was next to useless. And then you had John Murta and Richard Arnold, who they promised big, didn't they, in that meeting with the fans at the pub, and then turns out they're just as useless as Ed Woodward, if not maybe a little bit more. So
remember that interview at the pub?
Yeah.
I've completely forgot
Feels
about
like
that.
it feels like about 10 years ago that, doesn't it? But it was
We're
literally
burning fucking cash, mate.
Yeah. And he threw a little shade at Woodward, didn't he? He's like, "Do you want me to operate like the last guy and stuff like that?" One
of his mates as well. Both went uni together, them two.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
All these rich banker wanker dickheads all flock together, don't they? They all know each other. So I think it's good that we're getting rid of people who have clearly not been good enough and clearly not been up to standard at United, and getting football people involved. Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, Dan Ashworth, hopefully soon. John Corblanc's already in place, who's obviously got football experience. And I'm sure there'll be more people coming in. Apparently Dougie Freeman's been rumoured to be head of recruitment to work alongside Jason Wilcox. So I'm sure there'll be other appointments once Ashworth's in the door and once Omar Barada's in the door. I'm sure they'll pick their team and have other appointments. So yeah, I like it, man. I like the shake up. I like getting rid of people, and they're starting from the top down, which is how you should in a company. Like, you should start from the top down, let the heads roll at the top, figure out where you're at, and then you can start culling on all the way down. So they will eventually get to players and management, because they're already talking about every player's up for grabs pretty much in the summer if an offer comes in, aside from, what was it, Højlund, Mainu and Garnacho, I think were the only untouchables. And then even Bruno, Dalot, Rashford and Onana could be up for sale depending on the price, but they all have signed long-term deals recently, so it could be difficult to see them leaving. But yeah, I like it, man. I hope to see more of that. I hope to see more news of more changes, more people, good people coming in. I want to see it.
Well, I want to discuss Ineos in a little bit more depth, but before I do that, we do have, again, more and more people joining the live at the moment. Get involved, man. Drop us a question, a comment, interact. It's very, very quiet in the chat at the minute. Let us know your thoughts about Ineos and the movements they're making at the moment. Also, as well, towards the end of the show, we've got something interactive, which is basically a plan just for you guys. So we need you involved in that. Stick around for that. And then obviously during the meantime, get involved in the topics on the table. Yeah, we said, didn't we, Sam, about Ineos that, when they come in, they're going to be ruthless. But are you actually surprised how cutthroat they've been?
Yeah, because we're United fans, aren't we? Me and we're cynical as fuck when it comes to United. Because we've been lied to before. It's like, this is going to be a rebuild, these are going to be changes, and then the same players are here next year, and they've been offered a big deal with more money, and you're just like, this is the same shit every fuck. And then it's the same signings, isn't it? It's like superstar signings who don't work, who are on massive fat wages and got no real interest in coming to United. And we drag those out anyway, or we chase players who don't want to come, and it's just the same old shit. So I was like, yeah, it's gonna. They're all talk, but I think we all said proof's in the pudding. We'll see what they actually do when it comes time to it. And so far, they're doing what they said they would do. Obviously, the big part comes when it's summertime. We start buying players, and that's the big thing. And that we'll see what happens there, because Newcastle are already trying to hold us over a barrel for Dan Ashworth. And it seems like we're holding firm, and Ashworth's going to arbitration and stuff. So hopefully that continues in transfers. Like, say we go for, I don't know, Michael Elise. He's what I've seen numbers 60, 50 million dotted around. Say we went in and we're like, oh, we'll give you 50 plus 5 in add-ons. And then the Crystal Palace go, nah, we want 85, 90. And we try and negotiate for them, and then Crystal Palace just stick firm to that. Hopefully we just go, nah, we'll move on. We've got 3 other options that we can target in that position who've got similar profile, and we can go execute them. And then already in the background, we've got agents talking to them going, look, we're going for this, but I think if that falls through, we want to get this guy. And hopefully they do that, because with Woodward, with Richard Arnold, with John Murty, it was like, it's this guy or nobody. And then if we don't get him, we panic and we just sign whoever we can get, and that's normally how it went.
Yeah, you need to set a precedent, don't you? Especially coming in, because United have this massive reputation when it comes to negotiations, that we're idiots, basically. I mean, even Romano say it about certain agents in the game. No, they can get United over a barrel. Well, So
it's like
lack of negotiation.
Harry Maguire, Leicester said 80 million, and we went, okay, what about 40? And they went, no, 80. And we went, all right, what about 55? And they went, no, 80. And then what did we end up paying? 80 million. Like, that's not negotiation. That's just dragging it out and then paying the price that they set at the beginning of the window.
I mean, Ajax got £60 million for Lissandro, which people thought maybe it was 10, 15 million over the mark at the time. And then in the same window, there was like, fuck it, you can Anthony for 85 as well. He was like, no, we won't pay that. We'll offer it. And then it was just like budging, and then we give them what they want anyway. So I hope we kind of step away from that.
Chasing
and it
De
seems
Jong.
like the people, De Jong for 12 weeks and end up signing Casemiro.
And then going, Casemiro, 70 odd million. And you're just like,
Yeah.
how's that a plan? That's not a plan, is it? You've
there
planned
is no
for a
plan.
certain profile of player in De Jong, who's an archetype type player that fits this thing. And you go for Casemiro, which is again, good player.
Destroyer, really.
Totally different profile, totally different type of player. It's like, that's not a plan. That's not planned, is it?
It's not just short term that affects it as well. It's long term, because when you sign these players on 5-year contracts for 350 grand a week or whatever it is, that has a mega effect on your wage bill, the structure, other players around him, and planning. So they've got a lot of mess to clean up in here. So I think they've started on the right foot. I like the people that they've brought in so far, but again, it's not a quick fix. You're not going to see the impact instantly. No. This will be years worth of work and kind of piecing the puzzles together. We spoke about being cutthroat. Now, some of the players we discussed on the show yesterday, make sure you guys check that out after this if you haven't watched that. Me, Sam, and Jimmy sat down and went through the full squad with a fine-tooth comb and said, realistically, who's going to be sold, who's going to be brought in, what wages can we remove off the bill, and da-da-da. And coincidentally, there was some quotes coming out tonight from Bruno Fernandes, which I thought was interesting. So I'll read the quotes out for you, and then I'll get reaction to it. He's saying, if you want me to be very honest, so he's being asked about his future, if I have to think about not continuing in the Premier League, it won't be until after the Euros, because nothing will be able to take my focus away from the FA Cup final and the Euros, as there's nothing more important than that at the moment. I'm not thinking about other things at the moment. Obviously, it just depends on me as a player, and obviously depends on the other side as well. A player always has to want to be here, but at the same time, you have to want him to stay. At the moment, I feel like there is that on both sides, which is nice to hear. But, kind of leaving the door open a little bit. It's one of them. Do you build around Bruno for the next couple of years? Do you put trust in him? Obviously, it's not one of the main issues at the minute, but there is still a conversation somewhere down the line, isn't there, with him being, pushing 30, for example.
Yeah, I don't think you should. I think in the modern era, you don't build around any player anymore. I think if you build around a player and then they leave or they're majorly injured, the plan falls apart, doesn't it? I think you have to build a system and players who work within that system, suit. And then if a player drops out or they're injured, there's a player there who can come in, fill their spot, and they know the system, they know how they play it, and there's not too much of a drop-off in terms of how we play. We've seen that with United. Like, Ten Hag is so reliant on Licha, on Shaw, on Bruno, on Rashford. Those four are, like, key to his plans, and 3 of them haven't been available all season, like, most of the season. And when your tactics are based on individuals, it means your system falls apart when they're injured. Whereas if you look at like Klopp or you look at Pep, it doesn't matter which player you take out or which piece you take out. Maybe Rodri's probably the only one where you take out and it falls apart. But everybody else is interchangeable. Take out Bernardo Silva, you can put in De Bruyne. You take out De Bruyne, you can put in Alvarez. You take out Grealish, you put in Doku. Like, just the pieces on a chessboard you can move around. It doesn't matter, that it'll still work. And I think that's where United need to get to. So Bruno could be an important part of that, and he could be an important player for this team, but I don't think you should build around the player. I also think in the quotes, because it was for DAZN Portugal, I think sometimes translations don't quite work when they get translated literally into English. So I think people might misconstrue a couple of sentences that he says, because he says stuff like, "Oh, if I'm really honest," and if it had to happen, he doesn't say when it happens or it's gonna happen. He said if it was gonna happen, and if you really asked me to be honest, when he's pushed on the question. So I think people need to look at that rather than just looking at the fact that he could leave, or he's not looking beyond the Euros and stuff. I think you need to sort of take that into context with translations. I think that's what happens with Ten Hag. I think he's got good English, but I don't think he's got a fantastic English. Like, he's not from Amsterdam where they speak perfect fluent English. He's from like the country, I think. So his English isn't things. I think he gets things wrong in translations in his English sometimes. I think that's what happens with foreign players. Even though Bruno's English is fantastic, I think sometimes things get missed.
Media reporting, though, innit? Like, I think Portuguese media as well could be very dubious when they're reporting things.
They're very clickbait. They're very clickbait.
Very, yeah. So they want certain quotes like that. I'm looking at his stats right now. I know it's not all about stats. We've said this before. 157 games in the Premier League, 54 goals, 39 assists. I mean, he had that record when he first came in, breaking Frank Lampard's record. Sorry, he had like 18 goals and I don't know what it was, quite a few assists. So over 30 goal involvements. How would you assess Bruno's career, in your opinion?
At United, he's probably the best buy since post-Fergie, I would say.
You think?
I don't see anybody that comes close to him in terms of impact, longevity, stats, goals, assists, trophies.
Probably agree with that.
Like, I don't see anybody who comes close. Like, he's won, apart from Van Gaal's FA Cup win, he's won every other trophy that we've won. He's now captain. His, like I said, his stats speak for themselves: assist, goals, chance creation. Obviously, there's negative sides to his game, but every player's got negative sides to his game, I imagine. And I think he's mostly outweighed by positive. So even though he does frustrate me on occasion, and people talk about he loses the ball, he's a number 10. Like, if he's not losing the ball, he's not taking risks.
Yeah, Kevin De Bruyne loses the ball all the time.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just like, you could be Scott McTominay and play sideways passes, backward passing. Your pass completion rate could be 98%. But Bruno, he's trying to take risks, and he's always trying to play the ball forward. He's always trying to create opportunities. He's always trying to create something for the striker or the forward. So I think he deserves a lot of credit, but he's never going to get it because he doesn't play like De Bruyne. He's not as silky. He's not as prolific, and he's never going to get like plaudits like Odegaard, who's just such a dream to watch on the ball, and everything he does is like sort of almost picturesque. He's never going to get those things. He's a bit more of a rough player. He's a bit more aggressive. He's a bit more dirty, that kind of stuff. So he's never going to get those plaudits, unfortunately. But he should. Like, he should.
One thing I'm slightly missing from his game, which he did a lot, and maybe it is because of the system and structure. Under Ole, some of the through balls he played for Rashford in particular and Martial were fantastic. And I watched something like the game today, Tony Cruz's pass for Vinicius. Them just cut through a defence straight. Like, I'm missing a lack of them. And again, it could be the system.
He has
it could
done
be
a
the
couple.
fact that
He has done a couple.
Yeah, he's done it. Done it. I'm not saying it's completely gone from his game, but I'm saying that I just remember maybe it was because of Ollie's system, because he was the one who picked it up when we were sat so deep and then there was so much space. I think it's gone away from his game a little bit, much like the goals from outside the box as well. You remember how many goals he was banging in?
Yeah.
Free kicks as well. I know he scored one against Sheffield on his left foot, but when was the last time we've seen him do something like that? Like, it's been a while.
I think the system, like you said, it hinders him and it helps him in the same vein.
Yeah.
Ten Hag's system requires players to run their fucking asses off. Like, you have to cover so many blades of grass, so much ground if you're a forward or a midfielder. You have to carry so much. And I think Bruno, in his head, that's who he is anyway. So he feels like he has to do everything. So when you're doing everything, you're not focusing on the really fine things that you're really good at. Like you said, the through balls, the outside shots, all that sort of stuff.
You're trying to keep everything together almost, aren't you?
He's spinning plates just continuously, and then stuff starts falling. So he ignores the through ball plate, or he ignores that. So I think in a better system, in a more refined role, I think you could probably get more of the good stuff out of him. And I think maybe that was the plan with Ten Hag. We're bringing Mount in. Maybe that was the plan. Obviously, we haven't seen that because he's been injured. So maybe when we see that, we might see something a little bit different.
This might sound quite harsh as well, but I'd like to see him under I don't want to say competent coach, because I think Erik Ten Hag has, everything he did at Ajax, he's shown that he was a competent coach. But I just think both of the times, they have played to his strengths in terms of Ollie was counter-attacking. Yeah. Ten Hag's playing this transitional, quick, direct football, which suits Bruno as well. I don't know. I still think there is a manager that can squeeze more out of him and be a bit more disciplined with him, and from a positional sense.
I think if you got a world-class number 6 in that, where Casemiro's playing right now, and then you had Kobe and Bruno, or Bruno and Mount as the 2 8s operating the thing, I think you would see the best out of Bruno, because he wouldn't have to worry about doing all that fucking dog work going backwards, because you know he'd have a world-class number 6 who could break up play, Kante level, break up play, gets hold of the ball to Bruno, to Mount, whoever, and sprays it out, and then the defence and the full-backs can push on, and you've got all that good stuff. But I think Ten Hag has misjudged the Premier League heavily. I think in the Dutch league, the quality is a lot lower and a lot less, and the system he employs relies on individual quality and sort of overwhelming the opposition to the point of, like, we don't know who to pick up here because there's so many different quality people on the ball, so they sit back. But in the Premier League, you don't get that, because teams will just have a go at you, and when a team has a go at you and you play that system, you've just got all this space in behind, so it's like 2 passes, banging, you're in. Burnley have done it, Sheffield United have done it, every lower team has done it against us, and I think he's been found out, and I think he needs to change the system, because the system he's trying to employ isn't going to work in the Premier League, and that's the realisation I've come to recently. I think he needs to tweak it, because he realised that in the first season and changed it up, and then he's gone and thought he's got the players in to do it now this season, and he hasn't. I don't think the Premier League you can't do that system here.
I remember Ragnick specifically saying when, the 6 months he was at United, that the Premier League is very different to the German league, simply because when you've got a Bayern Munich playing a Stuttgart or whoever it is near the bottom, it's not even competitive. That's why you see these 6-3s and 7-2s all the time. That's why you see these back. And with United, you look at Everton, what they did to Liverpool in the most recent game, they can beat them. It's so competitive. Palace could wipe the floor with us on Monday night very easily. Yeah. Very easily. So the level of competition is mad, isn't it? It's insane.
But like when Pep first came in, he said in an interview, he said, I misjudged the level. I thought I could do it, and I misjudged it. And it took him a season or two to get it. I think Klopp took a while to adapt and figured it out. Like this Arne Slot is going to come in, he's going to have a rude awakening. Like when he goes to Liverpool, he's going to have to figure shit out, man.
Even someone like a Sean Dyche, right, who, looking from the outside, a lot of people just look at him as like a kind of Sunday League pub, launch it forward. But it's so much more tactically nuanced than that. When I was listening to him the other day, listening to a podcast with him, and the way he was speaking about football and the detail he went into, you get it. You understand why these teams can be competitive with these absolute monsters near the top.
Look at Ancelotti. Did you give me, like, anybody in the chat or the people watching, what is Ancelotti's style? He hasn't got one, has he?
I would say in Europe, he's just counter-attacking, but then they can play possession-based football as well.
He's just tactically switched on. He adapts it to whatever game he's playing. He'll just go, right, here's
chameleon.
This player, mark these out of the game, play this, blah, 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 and he'll just tactically outthink the opposition. Because, like you said, even if they play shit, they will win games, because they'll figure out a way to win it. And that's the difference between, like, tactical masterminds and geniuses who can figure their way out no matter what, and then people who are just married to a system and they won't adapt it. And that's maybe, I don't know which one Ten Hag falls himself into, but so far he's fallen into the latter one.
Yeah. Tom Goldsmith is in the chat saying, Ineos have really muddled this club. They don't have the cash authority to affect wholesale change. Bruno will leave on his terms, not theirs. A very interesting comment. Well, speaking of Ineos and on their terms, or whatever you want to call it, Mason Greenwood now is expected to leave Manchester United this summer. That's been the expectation for a long time. The club are seeking a permanent deal and want between 30 to 40 million pounds. United will not accept a significantly reduced fee, and if their demands are not met, Greenwood could return to Old Trafford. Now, everyone knows our thoughts on the player himself, and we've mentioned it so many times, so we don't need to get into that. But individually, from a financial perspective, what is he worth?
I mean, just on ability
Tricky
alone.
One, right?
On ability alone, he's a 70, 80 million pound player, isn't he?
Yeah.
If you look at potential and ability. However, circumstances, the fact that he's only just this season played regular football after being out for 2 years? 3 years? How long was he out for?
I want to say 2 years. A year and a half, 2 years, I want to say.
So it takes a while to come back to those levels.
Speed.
He seems to be doing all. I don't follow him at Getafe, but from the things I've seen on Twitter, he seems to be all decent to okay. I think, I'd probably sell him for 40, 45. I think that'd be a good price for him. and it's all profit as well, isn't it? It's about the academy graduates, so it'd be all profit anyway. So I think 45 million I think could be a decent price for him to go. I think he's worth a lot more, but I just think the baggage he comes with, if you're holding out for 70 million, 80 million, you're going to be waiting a long time because nobody's paying it. So I think take 40, 45 and like cut ties and be done with it.
8 goals and 6 assists in 28 games for Getafe this season, which isn't a bad return.
It's all right.
It's not a bad return, considering the team that Getafe, like, with all due respect, they're a pretty shit team. Yeah. So that's not bad stats at all. But obviously, you can always reference the early years at United, when Rashford had a good season, Martial had a good season, 15 goals, 5 assists in the under-18s Premier League even before he came into it, and then kind of built on that as well in the next season. So I don't know how clubs are going to look at this, because I also don't know how fans are going to react to it as well. We know our thoughts on it. We've spoken about that. Do you think other fans would react to him different now? Do you think there's more of an opening for him to have a career, just speaking in general terms, at United?
I don't think so. I think we saw what happened when they tried to bring him back, and there was such a massive outrage.
You don't think that'll change now, though, with a year passing by?
No.
Not at all. No. Is that not just your opinion,
I mean,
though?
My opinion is my opinion, and we've been through it a million times.
Yeah.
But I think fan sentiment showed when they tried to bring him back. I think there was enough time between the incident that happened and him potentially coming back. What was it, 2 years? For it to die down, and it didn't. Like, as soon as there was any hint of him coming back, like, didn't they make a video? Like, John Murtaugh, I think. Well,
they had a whole PR package, didn't they? Planned
of how to handle it. So, and as soon as people got wind of that, and then they even kicked off it was Adam Crafton who broke the story on The Athletic.
Yeah.
He even had a go at him, which just shows the fucking thinking behind it. So, I don't think Ineos want that kind of scrutiny and that kind of press on them when they've just taken over at a club in their first transfer window. They want the smoothest PR, the nicest smooth sailing seas ahead. They don't need this shit on top of it. Like, it's a headache they don't need, and if they can make some cash out of it, all the better. And I think if we don't get the money that we think we should get, he probably goes out on loan again, I imagine. I imagine a team like Atletico have been interested, Juve have been rumoured, so Barca chucked about. I don't see how Barca do it with their finances, but it is what it is. So yeah, I don't see him returning to Old Trafford in any way, shape or form in terms of playing in the first team.
I believe they've triggered his contract extension as well. There was a clause in it that they've done for another year. Yeah. I've said all along, ever since I found out, they'll send him out on loan for a year, they'll wait for it to die down, and then they'll try bring him back. That's what I think they're going to do. But again, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Big up the lads in the chat. Dino Lewis, who's a real Red Ultra member, saying, keep Bruno. On another note, just cooked myself pie and mash with onion gravy.
Nice.
That's very weird, because not you cooking the pie and mash is very weird. I was speaking to my girlfriend before on the way back from somewhere, and I was like, really fancy like pub food, like mash, sausage, gravy, something like that, just proper British food. But anyway, what did you have for tea tonight, Sam? Anything interesting?
I had chicken, orzo, tomatoes, pesto, and bread.
Always something bougie with you, innit?
I like good food, man.
That, it makes my teas look shit.
I didn't cook it. DC cooked it. She's a better cook than me, so I did. I don't take any credit.
But you're still not a bad cook. You can cook.
I'm okay.
And stuff
I'm
like
alright,
that,
but she's so much better. Like, she's levels. Yeah. So
interesting. Okay. Charlie Malman says, you guys are late. Do you know anything about Greenwood being offered a new contract? We are late. It's just been a busy day, but we have to get the content out there. And also, we like putting the content out there and discussing United. So, yeah. Hopefully, we've covered Greenwood enough for you there. Look at what John Terry did. Look at what John Terry did, being racist and cheating on teammates' partner. I could see him coming back. It's down to him, though, I think. I mean, yeah, there are other examples.
It's a different level, though, isn't it? Like,
it's different level, obviously.
I know.
I know what he's saying.
Being a racist is a horrible thing to do, and you're a cunt if you are a racist. And banging your teammates' partner is obviously a shitty move. But there's that, and then there's what Greenwood did. So there's like any of them cheating on your teammates' partner's not a crime. I suppose being racist is a crime, but you don't see many people get arrested and charged in court for it, do you?
Although they should.
They should. But what Greenwood did is a crime, so I think it's different levels.
Yeah. Just a last quick thing before we get into the interactive stuff. Alvaro Fernandes, saw something about him.
Yeah, he's
becoming a permanent player for Benfica, around €6 million.
Fucking
apparently.
bullshit. Such bullshit, that, innit?
That's upsetting, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, what a really promising left back. And we could have fucking done with him this season as well, let's be honest. Luke Shaw been out, Malacia missing on milk cartons, and Brandon Williams huffing balloons in his car and being sent to Ipswich. So we needed a left back, and we just went, yeah, let's loan into Benfica with a $6 million buy option. Like, for fuck's sake. Like, such a stupid move that from the previous regime. Like, I hope Ineos don't do any of that sort of shit. Like, let our youth players go on the cheap. Like, Zidane Iqbal, he went for what? $1 million?
$1 million.
Fucking Utrecht. Yeah. How much did Charlie Savage go for? Like $2 million.
$1 million as well. You know what I mean? To Reading.
Fucking James Trafford at City's the goalkeeper's gone for $15 million. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, let's sort this shit out.
I do think we need to be a bit more careful with these prospects, 100%. And that's another thing that Ineos have to deal with. I really don't envy them, by the way, with the mess they've got to clean up at that club. Yeah. They've probably gone into there and they've gone, oh, wow, this is a lot. So, good luck to Ineos.
Think about like the scale of it. The training ground needs sorting. The stadium needs sorting. About 10 players need to get to fuck. The manager is in question. The fucking whole boardroom needed changing. You've still got the Glazers
stadium.
There. I've mentioned the stadium. The Glazers are still there. You're probably out of European competition. The Premier League is slipping away every fucking year.
Finances are a madness, isn't it?
It's so much. Even if I had the money, I would look at United and go, I can't be asked. I'm not doing it. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, it's so much like... To get him right back at the top, we were just discussing how like competitive the Premier League is. It's going to be so hard, like getting back up to the likes. I watched Arsenal this season; they've been so fucking good. Yeah. But that's years worth of getting every decision right almost, and recruitment.
And they're still falling short.
Struggling because Man City are just this fucking machine. I was listening to the other day very quickly about them. Obviously, what they did and how they got to where they were in terms of development for like 2008 or whenever the new owners came in. You're not really allowed to do that now in football. So they've got this giant head start on everyone else. And you look at Newcastle now, they can't do what City are doing.
Yep.
So it's almost like it feels a little bit like a Bayern Munich. Don't you know? I know they're not the top at the minute in the German league, but
they will be.
It feels like it's going that way, and it was City. Now the next 3-4 years, they could easily win the Premier League for them, like consistently.
Yeah, if they win the title this year, which I think they will, they'll probably win it for the next 2-3 seasons. Like, I can't see anybody getting close.
Look at their age profile of the team, the players that they've got. Like
Liverpool have got to start again with Arne Slot. Don't know if that's going to work. Can Arsenal continue the momentum they've built?
They're the only ones.
I don't know. And then everybody else is like a distant time
miles away.
We are Chelsea, Villa have done well, but
Newcastle,
fucking Newcastle, like nobody's getting near them for the next couple of years, man.
Yeah. The only thing, and everyone will know exactly what I'm going to mention now, including yourself. The only thing that can knock them off the perch is 115 charges.
Please,
if that happens,
let it happen
in the summer, which a lot of people are kind of speculating. You'll start, hear rumblings about it. If that happens, that would be very interesting, because then that would open a whole fucking can of worms in the league, and then the competition would really spread out, I think, because people are looking towards the top and they're going, it's actually possible now. Yeah. It's not, we don't have this machine in City, you got to be perfect almost.
Say City got relegated, I don't think they will, but for argument's sake, say they do, and they get all the titles stripped away from him. Could you genuinely pick a fucking Premier League winner? I don't think I could. Like, maybe you favour Arsenal, but Liverpool are restarting. Villa are looking good. If we get it right, maybe we're in there. Newcastle, say they carry on the trajectory. There's like 5, 6, 7 teams who could all theoretically
win. Good for the league, though, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, fucking great. Spurs, they could continue on the trajectory. Like, it could be great.
United, who knows?
Maybe. I mean, we don't work miracles, but yeah, you never know.
No, it's nice to believe, I suppose. Right, this is the bit of the show where we do it for you guys who are watching. So we need you lot to get involved in the comments, as many as you can. Interactive. So you guys would have seen this before. Guess the player by his career path, so from what club he's gone to. So I don't know. For an example, if you was to go to off the top of my head, someone like a Veron, let's say, who's obviously played in Italy, he's played for Chelsea, he's played for United, you would see the clubs on that graphic, and then obviously guess whatever player it is. So, without further ado, let's get into the first player, shall we?
I've got the first one on the screen, and I know it
on the
already.
Screen.
I know it already.
Okay, so I'll start with a bit of an easy one.
I'll let people in the chat.
Yeah, just to ease you guys into it, and if you are United fans, you should definitely know this one, 100%. So I'll wait for the first comment, or I'll wait for the first couple of comments in the chat, and let's see how switched on you guys are.
There's not many players who went from Liverpool and then a roundabout way to United. There's only a couple. So
in that way as well, like it's a massive transfer, obvious one. Soupy Special, I've not seen your name before. Welcome. To the channel. If
Dino's
you can,
got
please
it.
do hit that subscribe button.
Dino's got it right.
Who's got it? Dino, of course he has. He's a legend. Of course
Scoreboard's
got it.
Everybody's got it. Michael Owen.
Yeah, Michael Owen. Of course it is. Yeah, easy starter there for you. I saw him on the screen before, that's why I banged him up, because he pundits.
By the way, can he fuck off with punditry?
Terrible.
It's
terrible.
Fucking awful. Yeah. Like, just
and do you remember in commentary? Jesus.
Oh, jeez, fucking Christ.
Yeah. Awful.
Next one.
Now, these next four, there is a reoccurring theme with all of them. So bear that in mind. If you get one right, they are linked to each other one way or another. So, yeah. Right. Bear it in mind.
Where's fucking these badges, man? Jesus
Let's,
Christ.
let me get it.
Palenza Galicio?
What's this one?
Yeah.
Galicio Albinov? I don't even know that.
Verona, I know that one. Parma? Is that Parma?
Yeah, Parma. Yeah,
Atalanta, correct. Juve, and then AC Milan. Okay.
Correct, yeah. So the teams are, you've got Piacenza, you've got Lecce, Verona, Parma, Atalanta, Juventus, Milan. Okay. That's what you've got. So
what era are we saying?
You're talking an era you're a fan of.
Oh, okay. Parma,
yes.
Fucking hell, Parma.
Yeah. It's not Nesta, Dino. It is not Nesta.
It's not Nesta. I don't think he played for Verona. Nesta, I don't think. I'd know Nesta. Nesta. But
again, if you guys are struggling a little bit, I can throw the odd little clue in there. But just for now, you're talking prime Italian era. You're talking a very good player.
I might have a guess, but let's let the chat guess some stuff.
Okay. Get your guesses in the chat. Who do we think it is? It's not Nesta. It's definitely not Nesta.
It's not. I know Nesta's trajectory, so it's not him.
But he is a legend, and he is a killer. They're the first clubs that I'll give you. The club's first clues that I'll give you. Sorry.
Any ideas, Sam? Not. Yeah, I'll make. Do you want me to make a guess?
Yeah, go for it.
Pirlo?
Nope.
Bastard.
Not Pirlo. That probably would have been my guess. I look at Juventus, look at AC Milan. I don't think Pirlo ever played for Atalanta though.
No.
Del Piero. Nope, not Del Piero.
Nah, he didn't play for Atalanta.
Lucky Singh saying Sam, is Lisandro Martinez fit?
Apparently, according to Sky Sports, he is training, so he's not far away.
What that means, no one has a clue. Alright, I'm going to give you another clue because people are struggling in the chat. He's a striker.
A striker?
Top striker.
Oh. No, it's not him. He didn't play for AC.
A top striker who's played for AC Milan.
And Juve, though.
And Juve.
It's not Trezeguet, is it? He's not played for AC.
No.
It's not Shevchenko.
He is.
He's not played
when you
for
talk
Juve.
about a pure striker.
I'm going to kick myself.
Movement. You really, really are.
Oh,
movement from a positional sense. Finishing.
My brain's gone.
He's also... Alright, here's the next clue for people in the chat. He's a manager. Right now.
Oh. I think I know.
Okay.
Inzaghi?
Yeah. Inzaghi. Killer. Absolute killer of a striker, man. Filippo Inzaghi played for all them clubs in front of you. Parma, Atalanta, Juventus, and AC Milan. Dino got it in the chat as well. Yeah. Next up.
Oh shit, that's me, isn't it? Fucking hell. There we go.
Just sat there waiting. Like,
Ajax, Madrid, Inter, Galatasaray, Nice, and then I don't know what the fuck that last one is.
So there's 3 clubs there in conjunction. You look at that. That is the biggest clue. And there's also a link. I don't know if I should say it yet.
What's the last club?
I'll tell you now. It's like Al something. I think it is.
Is it Saudi?
Exactly. I don't know. So the club is Al Jarafah. So I'll have a look.
Where the fuck is that?
Qatari League.
Okay. Fair enough.
Al Jarafah. That's hard to say that. Yeah, Qatari League.
Yeah, I never would have got that badge.
Any guesses? Link to United in there.
Snyder?
Wesley Snyder. Yeah. Correct. It is Wesley Snyder.
The Madrid,
Inter Milan.
Madrid, Inter,
Ajax, Madrid.
Galatasaray. I didn't know he played for Nice. I didn't know he got to Nice.
Neither did I. Neither did I. No. So, I don't know if you guys can see the theme here that's ongoing. You know, you've had Inzaghi, you've had Wesley Snyder.
How is Inzaghi connected to United? Is he connected to
Snyder.
I know, but say Snyder's connected. Is it United connections?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
Next up, we've got 2 left.
Cruzeiro Esporte Club. Is that in Brazil, I assume?
So, again, let me pull this up.
Monaco, Inter, City, Roma.
Yeah, so you have Cruzeiro, Monaco, Inter, City, Roma.
Yeah.
They're the teams. It's not Dzeko. No. It's not Dzeko.
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar path, isn't it, Dzeko?
Yeah, I mean, I can't see the thing on the screen, to be fair.
He played for Inter, he played for Roma, he played for City.
That's a good point.
I don't know if it was in that order, though. I don't know if it was that order.
No, it was City, Inter, Roma, I think. And then he's gone Fenerbahce.
Yeah.
Any ideas, Sam?
Oh, God.
City, Inter, Roma. They're obviously the clubs. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know he played for the first 2, to be honest with you.
I don't even know what the first one is. I didn't know that club.
He's a defender.
I have no clue on this one.
Okay, he's a right back.
Help me, chat, please.
He's a right back and he's a defender. Played for Inter Milan. Mangala, nope. Not Mangala, the centre back. Come on, you got to go with that clue. A right back. He's played for Inter, City and Roma. Someone has to get that in the chat.
Someone in the chat,
surely.
Help me. I don't pay attention.
Brazilian.
Brazilian?
Still no.
No.
A Brazilian right back for Inter Milan.
Maicon?
Yeah, Maicon.
Did he play for Roma?
Yeah.
I didn't know he played for Roma. City. The Roma is what threw me off because I knew he played for Inter. I knew he played for City, but I didn't know he played for Roma. Threw me off.
So we've had Inzaghi, Schneider, Maicon. Last one we've got now. Next up.
Napoli, Parma, Inter, Juve, Madrid.
Yeah. This is an iconic player. Iconic.
Dino saying can't remember Maicon at City. Yeah, he wasn't there for long, was he? I don't think.
Yeah, no, don't think so. Didn't really flourish there either. It was kind of one of those signings where you just like,
like the Robinho one, because he thought he was signing for United and then realised he was signing for City.
So you got Napoli, Parma, Inter, Juventus, Madrid, and then I think he went back to Juventus at some point as well. Who is this? It's not Zidane. It's not Pirlo.
It's not Zidane.
He is an iconic player. And, do you want another clue in there as well? He's won a Ballon d'Or.
Ooh. It's not Zidane, Lucky. It's not Zidane.
It's not Zidane.
He didn't play for Napoli.
He's won a Ballon d'Or. He's played for Inter. He's played for Juve. He's played for Madrid. Top player. Top player.
Defender or midfielder?
Defender.
Okay, I know who it is.
Yeah. Get your answers in the chat. See a couple. Top. One of my favourite centre backs, man. Yeah. Do you want to go for it, Sam?
Cannavaro?
Yes. Yeah. Fabio Cannavaro. Very small for a size centre back. You know, people talk about Licha being a small player, but Cannavaro equally was only like 5'6", 5'7".
Probably one of the best centre backs of all time. If you
fucking phenomenal. top player. But yeah, you can see there. So the reason why I went for these, for example, Italian League, Inzaghi, Wesley Sneijder, Maicon, Cannavaro, that kind of era from like, I want to say 95 to 2010, that 15-year span. Those players in that moment at Inter Milan, Sneijder for Inter probably should have won a Ballon d'Or himself when they won the treble. Inzaghi, killer striker, Cannavaro, one of the best centre-backs to do. The only centre-back to win a Ballon d'Or, I'm pretty sure.
Van
Dijk was close to it, wasn't he?
His third, did he come? I think
he came second behind Messi. Yeah. So yeah, the only defender to win a Ballon d'Or.
Cannavaro and Maldini were probably the two defenders that stood out to me in terms of like being the best of the best of the fucking best. Like,
I mean, when it comes to defenders, Italy produced some of the best. Nestor, Baresi, Maldini. Even Chiellini in his prime was unbelievable. I think Mourinho once said a quote about them too. He said, if you want to study how to the art of defending, watch Bonucci and Chiellini, the way they defend together.
Thuram as well.
Thuram, fucking phenomenal.
What a player.
Yeah. So, I just thought I'd do a bit of fun there towards kind of wrap it up towards tonight's show. It's getting a little bit late now, so we are going to kind of move, wrap up the show. Bless Asuka says, how many players are United selling? And what about their replacements? So we did do a show yesterday. Me, Chivy, and Sam, we went through the full team, every single player, who the replacement should be, how much realistically we could get for him. I went in detail on that, so make sure you check that out. Also, just a quick plug before we head off. For any members who are in the chat, I'm sure a couple of you have already seen. I mean, I've seen some nice comments on it already. But we did put a members video out today at 12 o'clock, how United could line up next season. If you want to check that out, or if you want to get access to that a couple of days early, Sam has just put the link in the chat. If you want to become a member, we've currently got, I think, about 20 members at the minute. So if you want to join us and be a part of the community, you get, exclusive content, badge next to your name, chance to feature on the show as well. Please do become a member and join that community. And leave a like on the video for us as well.
Get lovely emojis like this in the chat as well. I'll just put them in.
Yes, sir.
Get to use those.
Yes, sir.
So if you want to use those, then please feel free if you want to be a member.
Yeah. Dino saying great video. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, I saw the comment on the video. It's always nice to hear. When he take hours on edits and put time into it, it's nice to get feedback like that. So appreciate it, brother. Right, me and Sam will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Have a lovely rest of your night. Go on.
James and the Muppeteers be on Thursday. So if you want to come check, we've got so much shit to ask him. So we're going to try and cram as many questions as possible in there. So please check out that. Jay Motti, we're going to get on next week. He's up for coming on the channel, so we'll be on. I don't know what day yet, but we'll confirm that. So two good, really, really good guests coming on. So please subscribe, notification bell, all that shit, so you don't miss out, and you can check the videos out when they're live or after they've gone on the record. Yeah, and I will play this tune for you as we head off. See you in a bit. It's been a while. It's been a while. See you in a bit. Peace.